Hi, it's time for another installment of Ask Maureen Facebook Live, and I have a full slate of questions for you today, and some announcements, and some freebies, and some ways that you can help me with photo detecting. So let's get started, and I hope you're all having a good day. So I hope that you're joining me over on Instagram because I'm using that hashtag kind of creatively with family names for some photographs that I bought over the years. And now I really want to reconnect them with their family. So I think Instagram's a great vehicle for that. I'm also offering photo detective tips this month, especially in the month of June. And 2 tips are things like photo collections may be family and friends. And so don't just think that those family collections are just family, because they could be neighbors, they could be friends, they could be lots of people that they knew, could even be famous individuals. And then don't overlook the items in the background of your photographs, from the cars to the signs to, it can be all kinds of things in the background, the props, the backdrops, all of that. I hope that you caught my interview, Scott Fisher's interview with me on Extreme Jeans on extremejeans.com. I was talking about spring cleaning your family photo collection, what to throw out and what to keep. And that's episode 194. So check it out. Also, Drew Smith of the Genealogy Guys and their new podcast, Genealogy Connection, interviewed me about how I got started as the photo detective and actually how I got started as a genealogist. And the two are related, of course, because of course I merge genealogy and photography together and find the family history in your photo mysteries. But it was really great to talk with Drew. I've known them for a very long time, and we got to talk about my grandmother and some crazy vacation my family took to New Hampshire, and how I conned my father, who was not interested in family history at all, into turning it into a family history vacation, at least for one afternoon. And what a good time we had. So here's a couple of questions submitted by both followers of my Facebook page, but also people on Instagram. And so one of the questions this month is, someone wants to know, and this is a slippery slope, I just want to tell you. She wants to know if when she sees an identified photograph in a yard sale, photo shop, antique shop, should she buy it? And for those of you like me that just can't pass up a photo with a name on it, I would say she should probably do it, but it's buyer beware. Because the search for the people on the back, the names on the backs of those photographs, can be quite an obsession, because we as genealogists like to give back, and we like to have the photographs given back to the families for which they originally belonged. And this could take you a long time. I have a theory that a lot of photographs that end up in the antique shops end up there because the family has died off, that there isn't anybody directly connected with that image anymore. And here's an example. So a good dozen years ago, 10 years ago at least, I wrote a column on Family Tree magazine on this little photograph of a little boy, and I called the column The Little Prince. And the guy's name was Earl Prince, and he was from Maine. And it's a beautiful little photograph of him in a cute little outfit. And I found it in an antique shop. And I put the challenge up there on the Family Tree magazine blog that if anyone was related to Earl Prince, that they should contact me. This is way before we had all the sophisticated databases that we have today to reconnect people. And I said, if you're related to Earl, then send me a message and you can have the photo. Well, just this past winter, someone did contact me, and they said that their mother, that Earl Prince was their mother's great uncle, and that she was a genealogist and she would love to have it. So I mailed it off. So to the woman who asked if she should buy someone else's identified family photograph, I would say, of course. How can you not? How can you not pass up the opportunity to make someone's day and reconnect that picture with them? So if you want to join me on Facebook on the Photo Detective, Maureen, the Photo Detective page, I'd love to hear more about your orphan photo experiences because I love it and it's a lot of fun. Somebody else wrote in and said, my in-laws made slide copies of all of their family photos. Now this person wants copies. And they want to know, should they scan from the originals or scan from the slides to make the copies? So in photographic lingo, we call the slide copies the second generation of those images, and the quality may not be as good as the original. So I would always scan from the original whenever possible. Now, it's not always possible. It's perhaps those relatives throughout the originals, and then you'd have to go from the slide copies. But you want to go from the originals because that is the crispest copy that you have at this point. Another question was, would you throw out a box of old family group photos with no names, or what would you do with them if there's no one alive to still be related to them? This gets into the spring cleaning on Extreme Genes. When is it okay to throw out a photo and when is it not? So I wouldn't throw it out, but I'm the photo detective and I have a massive collection in the guest room closet, just if you want my secret. I know my secret's safe with you. And I wouldn't. I would post those group photos on a site like Dead Fred, for instance, which is a photo reunion site. And I would put down as much information as you have, including the family that it came from and the, what you might know about the group. I would share it perhaps with historical societies in the area where the photo was taken. They may know the occasion for that group photo, especially if it's one of those massive yard-long pictures of a group dinner, usually at a hotel. They're lots of fun, so I wouldn't throw them out. But of course, I have a hard time parting with photos. So listen to Extreme Genes and you'll find out what I will part with. This is a common question. What should you do with the negatives? And we all have them. I have them. I have little sleeves with the images and the negatives. The question is, somebody wants to know if they should throw out the negatives. And the answer to that is no, because the negatives can be reprinted. You can even scan them and convert them to a positive and make a digital copy. So when you have a negative, it's a preservation copy. Think of it as it's good as scanning. And then the other thing to consider when you have those negatives is take the pictures out of the envelope that you have them stored in with the negative, lay them all out, and make sure your family members actually printed all the photographs or that you have them all, because they may have shared them with other people and there could be pictures missing from your collection. And so in that case, scan the negatives, convert them to positive, and see what you've got. Here's one of those photo mysteries that nags at me. So if the early Kodak amateur cameras had lots of, I've read up to 100 frames per roll of negatives, and you have one or two, where are the rest? Where do they go? Can you recreate the roll of photos? Not the roll of photos in your family, but the frames in order in which they were taken, because that would be a fabulous story. I'm trying to do that with some of my family snapshots right now. Let's revisit the question of black paper albums. What should you do with them? I know that the first inclination anyone has is, I need to take those photos out of those black paper albums. And there's two reasons they want to take them out. One, you're thinking that this is a preservation issue and that black paper is going to destroy the photos. No. Those photos on that black paper have already experienced all the deterioration due to that paper that they're going to. So they're fine. The second reason people want to take them apart is because they're dying to know if there's anything on the back. let me tell you, about 99% of the time, there is nothing on the back of the photos. And when you take those images off those black paper pages, you've destroyed the story that somebody has tried to create on those pages. So make sure when you have those photo albums that you photograph each page or scan each page as it looks. And then you've retained the order. If you want to take them off the page, we'll talk about that another time. But I prefer to keep my photo albums intact. I like to look at the story and revisit it and see what my ancestors were trying to tell me. So those are the 3 tips. The 3 tips for dealing with black paper albums are: keep them as they are, scan and or photograph so that you document the pages, and then the 3rd tip is to store them. Wrap them in a sheet of unbleached muslin fabric, put them so that you don't lose any of the pieces, and then put it in an acid and lignin-free box and write on the box what's stored in it, so there's no mystery there for your descendants. Here's the thing. I need your help. I'm offering a survey. I need to know what you need to help you solve your photo mysteries. Are there resources that you think would be helpful? Even if we don't have it yet, what form might that take? And the other question is, the other question is, what is your photo identification problem? Not your specific photo, but what is your most pressing photo identification problem? Is it a uniform, a fraternal symbol, women's clothing? Let me know. And you're going to watch your inbox. If you're on my mailing list, and I hope that you are, and you can sign up either through Facebook or my website at maureentaylor.com, you will receive a survey. If you take that survey and then you want to, I can reach back to you and I can tell you more about what I have planned for the fall. It's a great way to stay current with what's going on in my world that might help you in yours. Now, here's the other thing. Facebook Live next month is going to be different. You're going to be able to submit a photograph, and I'm going to pick one of those photographs, and I'm going to, there's my fax machine, lovely home office, and I'm going to pick one of those photographs and do a live consultation. All you have to do is get on my mailing list and submit a photo. If you get on the mailing list, you'll get the link to submit the photo. So thank you very much for joining me for Facebook Live, and I apologize for the ringing phone in the background. I thought I shut it off. You know how that goes. Thank you so much. See you next month.